Testing and evolution addresses how virtual beings are tested and how they evolve, with the split-screen Turing test serving as a conceptual framework for distinguishing between human-operated VTubers and AI avatars. It situates virtual beings on the spectrum between robots and avatars, introduces the 4 functional modes across edge and cloud computing, and explains the synthesis of virtual influencers and VTubers into virtual robots. The role of social media is traced, showing the progression from profile pictures to interactive influencers as part of their evolution. This diagram, titled Split-Screen Turing Test for Virtual Beings, contrasts a VTuber on the left with an AI avatar on the right, placing them side by side as if in a comparative test. A VTuber represents a human-inhabited avatar, where a real person controls the digital character in real time, while an AI avatar represents an autonomous, AI-driven entity capable of generating its own behaviors and responses. The arrows between them suggest a test of indistinguishability, echoing the logic of the Turing test, but applied to virtual beings. Can viewers tell whether the avatar is controlled by a human or operated by AI? This setup highlights the convergence of human-inhabited and AI-inhabited avatars, and the challenge of evaluating their realism and believability. This diagram positions different types of entities along 2 axes: virtual beings, vertical axis, bottom, and robots, vertical axis, top, to show the spectrum between purely digital avatars and physically embodied robots. At the base are static avatars, representing the simplest form of virtual beings with no interactivity. Above them are human-inhabited avatars, controlled directly by people, and then AI-inhabited avatars, where artificial intelligence generates behaviors autonomously. Higher up on the continuum, bridging virtual and robotic domains, are VB-inhabited robots, which combine virtual being intelligence with robotic embodiment. On the robotic side, the diagram distinguishes virtual robots, software robots, from physical robots, hardware robots, emphasizing how digital and physical forms converge. Overall, it highlights a layered progression from static, purely virtual representations toward embodied, intelligent robotic systems. This diagram positions virtual beings as the bridge between 2 distinct domains: chatbots, which are conversational but disembodied AI systems, and physical robots, which are embodied machines capable of action in the physical world. Virtual beings occupy the middle ground, combining the conversational intelligence of chatbots with the embodied presence associated with robots, but existing primarily in digital or virtual spaces. By situating virtual beings between these 2 extremes, the diagram emphasizes their hybrid role as interactive, human-like entities that merge language-based interaction with a sense of presence, without requiring a physical robotic form. This diagram outlines the 4 modes of functional virtual beings, defined by whether they operate asynchronously or synchronously, and whether they run on the edge, local devices, or in the cloud. Asynchronous edge refers to linear, pre-rendered content running locally on a device, while synchronous edge enables real-time interactivity on the device itself. Asynchronous cloud describes linear, cloud-based processing, where responses are not immediate, and synchronous cloud delivers real-time interactivity through cloud computing, allowing scalable and responsive virtual beings. Together, these modes classify how virtual beings function based on their level of interactivity and computational location. This diagram presents a conceptual equation showing how combining the traits of a virtual influencer and a VTuber leads to the emergence of a virtual robot. Virtual influencers are primarily asynchronous, scripted, and designed for curated storytelling and branding, while VTubers operate synchronously in real time, directly engaging with audiences through live interaction. When these 2 modalities are integrated, blending the narrative presence and reach of influencers with the real-time interactivity of VTubers, the result is a virtual robot, representing an AI-driven, interactive entity capable of autonomous, ongoing engagement that merges both scripted identity and live interaction. This diagram, titled From PFP to Virtual Beings, illustrates the progression of online identity from simple profile pictures, PFPs, to fully developed virtual influencers. It begins with Twitter, where identity is largely represented through static profile images, then moves to Facebook, which expanded personal expression through richer profiles and social connections. The next step is Facebook avatars, representing the shift to customizable digital characters that reflect users in more dynamic visual ways. Finally, the trajectory culminates in virtual influencers, autonomous or semi-autonomous digital personas that operate as interactive, branded entities. The upward arrow emphasizes this evolution as a continuous development toward increasingly sophisticated and interactive virtual beings. This diagram shows the evolutionary path of virtual beings, represented with the metaphor of a horse and carriage moving across stages. It begins with virtual influencers, categorized as static avatars, which are pre-produced and non-interactive. It then progresses to VTubers, or human-inhabited avatars, where live performers bring avatars to life in real time. Finally, it culminates in virtual robots, described as AI-inhabited avatars, which operate autonomously without human control. The overarching arrow emphasizes a natural forward trajectory, from static to human-driven to AI-driven embodiments, illustrating the technological and functional progression of virtual beings. This diagram presents a progression of virtual beings to physical robots across different modalities of embodiment and interaction, moving from the metaverse to the real world. It starts with virtual influencers, depicted as static and recorded characters, then advances to virtual YouTubers, who are human-inhabited and operate in real time. The next stage is virtual robots, which are AI-inhabited and represent a higher level of autonomy and interactivity. Finally, the progression reaches physical robots, tied directly to hardware in the real world. The upward diagonal arrow signifies increasing sophistication, embodiment, and immediacy, marking the transition from recorded to real-time interactions, from static representations to embodied agents, and from purely virtual existence in the metaverse toward tangible presence in the physical world.